Now let's jump right into the Galefu Mindfulness City, which is basically the tentpole, the headline, more or less, of not only what His Majesty the King said, but the headline of this economic change that Bhutan should be leading. We were down in Galefu earlier this week to see the area, the land where the city will be one day there. It is a vast place. It is huge, definitely bigger than Singapore. But also the concept that you are proposing, that it is a modern city, but with many different aspects that you don't see in other mega cities. Mindfulness, environmental conservation. When I saw this for the first time, and forgive me for saying this, but it looks too good to be true. I mean, what are you telling the naysayers that are saying that this is too good to be true?
Well, gross national happiness, if you think about a country not just adopting the development philosophy of gross national happiness, but imbibing its ideals and principles of balancing economic growth, sustainable economic growth, with social progress and equity, with preservation of the culture and the environment, and with good governance, don't you think it sounds too good to be true? Don't you think that the concept of having a country not just carbon neutral, but carbon negative, sounds too good to be true? Don't you think that a country, one of the poorest in the world, being able to provide free education, free universal education and universal health care, free universal health care, don't you think it sounds too good to be true? Don't you think that a country where a monarch, a country that has an absolute monarch, that imposes democracy on its people, don't you think that's too good to be true? So, this is reality for Bhutan. We have our challenges. We've taken the difficult path. We've had our challenges. But for many people, this seems to be the ideal. And we in Bhutan, while we are poor, we have our challenges, we are fortunate enough to live these ideals, to enjoy these ideals, to enjoy, to be the custodians of a world's unique culture and tradition, to live in a country that's lush and green, and a carbon negative country that's a biological hotspot, to have the confidence that our children can go to school, that my children will have free health care, that we can take part in a democratic process to choose and hold our government to account and to choose the next government. If that is true for Bhutan, Galefu Mindfulness City, you should be able to imagine it. You should be able to imagine a new form of urban living, not a mega city as you put it. It won't be a mega city. It will be a modern city, not a mega city, but a city in which humans live in harmony with other humans and bring out the best in other humans. A city in which, an area in which, a living space in which humans live in harmony with nature, where spirituality and sustainability can live in harmony with human growth and progress, happiness and well-being. So right now, this is the beginning of a journey. So if you go to Galefu, you would see a blank canvas, 2,000 square kilometers, 3 times the size of Mumbai, 3 times the size of Singapore. 2,000 square kilometers, which has many waterways, but 2 big perennial rivers, one of which can generate large amounts of renewable energy. This area has 2 protected areas, protected forests, old protected forests. They are hotspots for biodiversity. And these 2 protected areas are connected by a biological corridor. A lot of old farms, terraces, rice terraces. And I do believe that we can create an urban living space not necessarily to be a model for the rest of the world, but definitely an inspiration for the rest of the world.
This can-do spirit that this year just has shown me. I mean, it seems to me, especially in the beginning part when you told me about all the achievements that Bhutan has done so far, it seems that this can-do spirit has always been there. It's just that it just needed a new reignitement.
Yes, and we've got to be cognizant of the new realities. So what is our biggest challenge? Economic development. Why is there a challenge? Because we've been very, very conservative. We've been very inward looking.
Have you also been too careful in that regard?
That's why I say conservative. Yeah. And what the Gelefu Mindfulness City does is it actually opens our minds while keeping us true to our values and beliefs, our traditions and spirituality, our sense of sustainability. But it allows us to open ourselves to the rest of the world.
And so this is also why this is a special administrative zone where, okay, to be fair, I was reprimanded the other day when I named it an experiment. So basically,
you can call it an experiment.
Yeah.
I call it a journey.
Yep. So, but
You
would
can call
agree,
it an experiment.
But you would agree that this is something new. Basically, this is a test bed, a sandbox, so to speak, about what
for us,
of trying new things.
for us, it's not a test bed. It's not a sandbox. It's the start of a journey, an epic journey. A sandbox, a test bed, an experiment implies that you don't know what you're doing and you're just figuring things out as you go along.
Then, this is as I said, it's a vast sweeping change that affects a lot of different sectors. I mean, the labor market, the private sector needs to be developed. But then obviously, of course, one of the things about the Gelefu Mindfulness City is that it is an invitation to the world to invest as well. I mean, you have posted on social media earlier this year that Bhutan is open for business, and this is basically the starting bell, the starting bell for foreign investment to come into the country. But obviously, this is something that you would have to abide to the values what the Gelefu Mindfulness City stands for. Is that correct?
Yeah. So when I say Bhutan is open for business, it's Bhutan, not just Gelefu. Yeah. Overall. Now for Gelefu Mindfulness City, there's a special invitation. But businesses must be consistent with the ideals on which Gelefu Mindfulness is being started on. So you can't just have a mindfulness city based on high ideals and values and then have any and all type of businesses coming in. They will be vetted.
This is one of the thoughts that I had when I was researching this project. Basically, when we look around, that you will be selective, that you will be vetting very carefully with partners that are fitting to this mindfulness city. But we are looking in the world and we are seeing that for people that, to put it bluntly, that their religion is money.
Yeah, there are people in the world, as you put it, their religion is money. But you sit and talk with them. There's a deeper calling. Yeah, and they're looking for, if they haven't, actually most people have found purpose in life. It's not just money. Yeah, I'm talking about the rich people. Yeah. For the few that haven't, you have a conversation with them, and what we imagine in this journey resonates with them. It's not just, I'm interested in money and that's it. No, they want a larger purpose. And maybe because of that, and maybe because of His Majesty the King's vision, the power of his vision, and the fact that he's very charismatic, we have many people who are interested already. So you can rest assured that a lot of the investment is going to be by invitation.
Okay, I have a hypothesis, and I would like you to ask you whether or not you agree or disagree with this, and feel free to call me out on this as well. With all the many elements of the Gelefu Mindfulness City, especially the focus on spirituality and mindfulness and conservation, so that, again, going back to what I said, that for some people, their religion is money. Can this be also considered as a antithesis to modern day capitalism?
I won't say antithesis.
Or an alternative?
Conscious capitalism? Mindful capitalism? Capitalism works, right? I think it's good also.
But something to coexist with what we have right now.
Yeah. I mean, my experience is that people, the more successful people are, monetarily or otherwise, financially or otherwise, the more they seek out otherworldly things. They also seek out nature. They want to be with nature. They want to live a sustainable life. They want to leave something for the next generation. So it's not like, what did you call it? An alternative to capitalism.
Or an antithesis to capitalism.
Antithesis, right. Yeah. I think it's not. I think it's just mindful capitalism.